2021 has been an unpredictable, emotionally draining year for Malaysians. The COVID-19 pandemic forced the country into a lockdown for many months. A political crisis which led to the downfall of the Prime Minister and the worst flood disaster in 50 years. 2021 has indeed been a tough and difficult year for Malaysia.
In early August, the country's COVID-19 infection rate hit the highest peak of more than 20,000 cases per day since the outbreak. Between July and mid-August, more than 300 people died of the infections daily, with thousands more in hospitals, stretching medical frontliners to the limit. At the same time, Prime Minister Muhyiddin Yassin was battling his political survival. He has only been Prime Minister for 16 months, but faced intense pressure to resign by his main coalition partner, UMNO, who claimed he has lost majority support in Parliament. Despite offering an olive branch to his critics, which would allow him to remain in office till July 2022, his days were numbered. Finally, on 16 August, Muhyiddin Yassin stepped down as Malaysia's Prime Minister. He was replaced by Datuk Sri Ismail Sabri from UMNO. In September, Malaysia's main opposition parties signed an agreement with the newly appointed government, which led to a political ceasefire. Both sides had agreed to work together in tackling the COVID-19 pandemic and revive the country's battered economy. By October, the COVID-19 daily infection cases had gone down below 10,000. The movement control order and interstate travel bans were lifted. Malaysians were beginning to lead normal lives again, although under strict social distancing norms. But just as schools and businesses were reopened, Malaysia was caught unprepared by a disastrous flood in mid-December. It was regarded as the worst in 50 years. 7 states were hit by 3 days of thunderstorms and torrential rain, with Selangor facing the brunt. At least 47 people died and more than 70,000 were displaced as floodwaters submerged their homes. Some were even trapped for almost 2 days without food. Questions are now being raised as to why government agencies have not been more responsive to the disaster. Despite the setback, thousands of ordinary Malaysians went out of their way to rescue trapped victims. Food, clothing, and medical supplies were rushed in from all over the country to the affected areas. Thousands of volunteers spent their Christmas and year-end holidays braving through the mud and debris in the affected areas. They were there to lend a helping hand to fellow Malaysians to clean up their homes ravaged by the floods. The Malaysian government has set aside more than $20 million to help flood victims rebuild their lives. Hopefully, they could perhaps face the new year on a brighter note.